G'day everyone, welcome back to my little home machine shop. My name's Aaron. Today I've got a little different sort of video for you. I need to make a BT30 Arbour, and the reason I need to make this Arbour is that I've bought these set of involute gear cutters from a Chinese seller off AliExpress. And they were quite cheap, rather. They're probably about $110 for a set, or $100 a set, or something like that. Now it's a full set of gears to cut a range of sizes at 1.5 module, 20-degree pressure angle. So for the Arbour today, I was lucky. I found a piece of steel that my good buddy Wayne, you may remember a lot of the vintage engine parts that I machine here on this channel. So Wayne had found this big chunk of steel kicking around in the paddock. So let's get into it. Let's put this big chunk of steel on the lathe. Let's start turning it. And of course, then throughout there, we'll have to drop it over to the mill and do some other work. And if I could encourage you to do me a huge favour, please like the video and write a comment. It helps to promote the video and get others to look at it and check it out on YouTube as well. All right, guys, I'll catch you at the end of the video. I've got the 4-jaw chuck on here, and I've got the job in the 4-jaw chuck. I've got my DTI on there. It's jumping around a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. Let's have a look at it. As my old buddy Michael Connor says, good enough for government work. this should be my final depth of cut, so this is 41 thou. I'm up to the last cut here on this keyway in the shaft. The key will go in there to hold the involute cutter so it doesn't slip. I'm currently at 3mm. The black book says about 3.5 to 3.6, so I'll shoot for the middle. .55. Keyway slot's about 7mm long. So I'm just watching my digital readout. I mill to the 7, then I come back up to the face of where that arbor's going to, back up to the face where that involute cutter's going to sit. Back to my midpoint. Drop that down. Give it a little flush. There we are, we're down to depth, so that's good. We can put this arbor back in the lathe now, and I can start machining this side down to fit the BT30 taper. Righto, I've taken my BT30 collet chuck out of my milling machine and place it back in the 4-jaw chuck here on my old Colchester Master. That's a Pratt Bernard 4-jaw chuck. I've got the DTI up here, and what I wanted to do first was just clock it in, make sure the stylus is on center height, and just ensure that, you know, I'm on pretty much 0-0 there. There's a slight little bit of fluctuation. I'm not too worried about that, to be honest with you. So what I'm going to do now, I'll reset up the dial gauge, or the dial test indicator, onto the compound slide, and we'll copy that angle. Now I've got my Noga base set up here with my little small MX dial indicator there, finger dial indicator. I'll bring in the centering tool now just to show you the height of that stylus. So you can see there I've got the stylus set right on the central location there, on the center point. Pretty much fluked this here today, and I'll bring the DTI and I'll introduce it to the workpiece or to the collet chuck, and you can see for yourself. Now there'll be some little minor fluctuations as I'm winding it, but as you can see as I bring it back here, it's jumping because I'm moving the handle. You know, when I stop it's still on the 0. And yeah, I'm happy with that. So I've put in a 12mm end mill here, and I've slotted it out. I'm about 1mm up from the floor, and I've come over onto this wall and taken 1mm. So the slot needs to be an overall width of 16. So I hit it with a 12mm cutter. So, you know, 16 take away 12 is 4. So I've got 2mm on this side, 2mm on that side. I'll move over in the y-axis now, another millimetre. Right, let's direct index that around. We'll drop the pin in there. So I started on 0, I'm on my 18 now. And that's at the bottom. We'll lock this up. And put the pin in. Right, we should be ready now to mill this other slot. Now I'm on to the opposite side now, and I'm really taking it easy because I nearly stuffed it before. So I'm just whittling away at it now ever so carefully. This is a climb pass. I've got the X gibs tight a little bit, just nipped up. And clearance is clearance. I'm nearly hitting that collet nut there. I'm going to step over now and take the last pass on the back wall. So I'm using a 12mm cutter to cut a 16mm slot. Here's our last pass on the back side. It's only a 1/4mm step over. Now this milling machine is not a heavy milling machine. It's about 3/4 size of a Bridgeport, and it's not as rigid as it should be, or what I think it should be. And I'm a little bit greedy, and sometimes I take a bigger cut than what I should, and that leads you into trouble. Well guys, here's the completed arbor for the gear cutter. I was just waiting for the nut to arrive from AliExpress. The involute cutter. Going, I've got it on backwards there, I'm going this way. It's snug as a bug in a rug, I tell you. There you go. So I'll have to make up some big fat washers as well. But yeah, there it is. Fits like a finger in a glove. Not a cock in a sock. There it is there. I don't want to start it with that on because it'll probably fall off, so I'll take that off. We'll start it up. Now I think it's got a little bit of run out. Let's put a dial gauge on it. Right, I've got the dial gauge on to show you guys out there. Now I've got to be brutally honest, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. Now it's overall about 0.08 of a mil run out, so 80 microns over that length. Now how could I improve this? Well, in theory guys, I should have used it. I should have machined it between centres using a dog and a dog plate, and this would minimise these sort of out of concentric. I reckon I'll give it a good 80% chance it will work. It will just mean one, you know, when you're going down to depth, one tooth will be in more engagement than the other. But anyway, alrighty, at least it's done, and you know, as soon as I get the nut, I can put it on and start cutting these bloody gears. So it's a bit of a bastard, but anyway, it is what it is. And who knows if this thing's running concentric as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found that video entertaining, to say the least. if you watch a little bit to the outro here, you'll see my major cock-up. I machined the Arbour and I'm wrapped with it. It came out awesome. Was a little bit of run out here, about 80 micron. I'm not too worried about that. In the video I said, how could I minimise that? Well, one thing, I could have cut the taper first, could have made a spacer to go into the Morse tapered spindle of my lathe chuck that would accommodate this BT30 and then done all the other turning. However, simply turning this between centres. Now, I don't have a drive plate or a dog, but you can also use friction turning as well, like my friend Michael suggested. Instead of using a steel centre, you can machine one up out of aluminium. The aluminium will bite into the metal, but you just take a light skim cut to do that. And I could have done that, and I probably should have done that, and I probably wouldn't have this run out that I've got. However, in hindsight, I should have done the taper first, then machined everything else from that. But it is what it is. Now, in the video outro, you'll see my monumental cock-up, and there it is there. So being greedy, and being greedy comes from my CNC days where I like to take hefty cuts, and my little milling machine here just wasn't up to it, and it grabbed and it pulled, and unfortunately I stuffed this up here. It's not going to affect the operation of it, but it is one of those things, and the stuff up is the stuff up, guys, all right? So, anyway, thanks again for sticking to the end of the video. Do me a huge favour, if you could just like the video, that will help promote it and get it played, guys. I'm trying to put a fair bit of work into this channel these days. But anyway, have a lovely day, and I'll see you next week on the Aaron Engineering channel. See you later. Now, like any good YouTuber, I totally stuffed that on camera, and I'll try and hide it and not to show it. Anyway, as you saw, the cutter bit in, grabbed, the dividing head twisted and snapped the end mill and put a big gouge in my part. So, lots of swearing words, and yeah, it's a bit of a worry. I just don't seem to be on my A game. Well, I'm not bringing my A game lately.